Hare Krishna. Welcome back to another daily reading. We're continuing on in Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 10, text 34. So far we have Bhakta Adam here. Hare Krishna.
Hello.
And we're going to do some kirtan and then we'll dive in to Bhagavad Gita. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Vracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavinda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavinda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavinda
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya
Bhagavad Gita as it is. Jai Gaura Premanande. All right. We are reading Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 10, text 34, but we're going to start with the invocation on page 1, the Mangalacharana prayer. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manavishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam lang hayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurun Dinataranam. Okay. Text 34. Mrityusara Haraschaham Udbhavascha Bhavishyatam Kriti Shrirvakcha Narinam Smriti Medhadriti Kshama. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Purport. As soon as a man is born, he dies at every moment. Thus death is devouring every living entity at every moment. But the last stroke is called death itself. That death is Krishna. As for future development, all living entities undergo 6 basic changes. They are born, they grow, they remain for some time, they reproduce, they dwindle, and finally they vanish. Of these changes, the first is deliverance from the womb, and that is Krishna. The first generation is the beginning of all future activities. The 7 opulences listed, fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience, are considered feminine. If a person possesses all of them or some of them, he becomes glorious. If a man is famous as a righteous man, that makes him glorious. Sanskrit is a perfect language and is therefore very glorious. If after studying one can remember a subject matter, he is gifted with a good memory, or smriti, and the ability not only to read many books on different subject matters, but to understand them and apply them when necessary is intelligence, medha, another opulence. The ability to overcome unsteadiness is called firmness or steadfastness, dhriti. And when one is fully qualified yet is humble and gentle, and when one is able to keep his balance both in sorrow and in the ecstasy of joy, he has the opulence called patience, kshama. 35. Brihatsama tata samnam gayatri chandasamaham masanam margashirsoham ritunam kushumakaraha. Of the hymns in the Samaveda, I am the Brihat Sama. And of poetry, I am the Gayatri. Of months, I am Margashirsha, November, December. And of seasons, I am flower-bearing spring. Purport. It has already been explained by the Lord that amongst all the Vedas, he is the Samaveda. The Samaveda is rich with beautiful songs played by the various demigods. One of these songs is the Brihat Sama, which has an exquisite melody and is sung at midnight. In Sanskrit, there are definite rules that regulate poetry. Rhyme and meter are not written whimsically, as in much modern poetry. Amongst the regulated poetry, the Gayatri Mantra, which is chanted by the duly qualified Brahmanas, is the most prominent. The Gayatri Mantra is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Because the Gayatri Mantra is especially meant for God realization, it represents the Supreme Lord. This mantra is meant for spiritually advanced people, and when one attains success in chanting it, he can enter into the transcendental position of the Lord. One must first acquire the qualities of the perfectly situated person, the qualities of goodness according to the laws of material nature, in order to chant the Gayatri Mantra. The Gayatri Mantra is very important in Vedic civilization and is considered to be the sound incarnation of Brahman. Brahma is its initiator, and it is passed down from him in disciplic succession. The month of November-December is considered the best of all months because in India, grains are collected from the fields at this time and the people become very happy. Of course, spring is a season universally liked because it is neither too hot nor too cold, and the flowers and trees blossom and flourish. In spring, there are also many ceremonies commemorating Krishna's pastimes. Therefore, this is considered to be the most joyful of all seasons, and it is the representative of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Yutam Shalayatam Asmi Tejas Vinamaham Jayosmi Vyavasayosmi Sattvam Sattvavathamaham. I am also the gambling of cheats, and of the splendid I am the splendor. I am victory, I am adventure, and I am the strength of the strong. Purport. There are many kinds of cheaters all over the universe. Of all cheating processes, gambling stands supreme and therefore represents Krishna. As the Supreme, Krishna can be more deceitful than any mere man. The unfortunate commentator who wants to cheat Krishna and the public by saying that there is something greater than Krishna is cheated by Krishna. And the commentator cannot understand Krishna after any length of time. If Krishna chooses to deceive a person, no one can surpass him in his deceit. His greatness is not simply one-sided, it is all-sided. Among the victorious, he is victory. He is the splendor of the splendid. Among the enterprising and industrious, he is the most enterprising, the most industrious. Among adventurers, he is the most adventurous. And among the strong, he is the strongest. When Krishna was present on earth, no one could surpass him in strength. Even in his childhood, he lifted Govardhan Hill. No one can surpass him in cheating. No one can surpass him in splendor. No one can surpass him in victory. No one can surpass him in enterprise. And no one can surpass him in strength.
What do they think about enterprise?
As far as I know, is like the building of business, like production and distribution. What do you mean? Look up the definition of enterprise on your phone real quick, just so we have a standard to go off of there. That's not just.
My phone's dead actually.
Oh.
But I just don't know. Like, can you give me an example of like Krishna? I just can't picture it.
Picture what?
No one can surpass him in enterprise. Like, I'm sure it's true, I just can't picture it. It's okay. You can do it after or something.
Okay. Rishinam Vasudevasmi Pandavanam Dhananjaya Muninam Apyaham Vyasa Kavinam Ushana Kavihi. Of the descendants of Vrishni I am Vasudev, and of the Pandavas I am Arjuna. Of the sages I am Vyas, and among great thinkers I am Ushana. Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Baladev is Krishna's immediate expansion. Both Lord Krishna and Baladev appeared as sons of Vasudev, so both of them may be called Vasudev. From another point of view, because Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, all the forms of Krishna that appear elsewhere are his expansions. Vasudeva is Krishna's immediate expansion, so Vasudeva is not different from Krishna. It is to be understood that the Vasudeva referred to in this verse of Bhagavad Gita is Baladev or Balaram, because he is the original source of all incarnations, and thus he is the sole source of Vasudeva. The immediate expansions of the Lord are called Swangsha, personal expansions, and there are also expansions called Vibhinangsha, separated expansions. Amongst the sons of Pandu, Arjuna is famous as Dhananjaya. He is the best of men and therefore represents Krishna. Among the Munis, or learned men conversant in Vedic knowledge, Vyas is the greatest because he explained Vedic knowledge in many different ways for the understanding of the common mass of people in this age of Kali. And Vyas is also known as an incarnation of Krishna. Therefore, Vyas also represents Krishna. Kavis are those who are capable of thinking thoroughly on any subject matter. Among the Kavis, Ushana Shukracharya was the spiritual master of the demons. He was an extremely intelligent and far-seeing politician. Thus, Shukracharya is another representative of the opulence of Krishna. Dando damayatam-asmi nittirasmi jigishatam maunam chaivasmi guyanam jnanam jnanavatamaham. Among all means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment, and of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things I am silence, and of the wise I am the wisdom. Purport. There are many suppressing agents, of which the most important are those that cut down miscreants. When miscreants are punished, the agency of chastisement represents Krishna. Among those who are trying to be victorious in some field of activity, the most victorious element is morality. Among the confidential activities of hearing, thinking, and meditating, silence is most important because by silence one can make progress very quickly. The wise man is he who can discriminate between matter and spirit, between God's superior and inferior natures. Such knowledge is Krishna himself. Yaschapi sarva bhutanam bijam tadaham arjuna natadasti vinayatsyan maya bhutam characharam. Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existences. Nothing moving or non-moving can exist without me. Purport. Everything has a cause, and that cause or seed of manifestation is Krishna. Without Krishna's potency, nothing can exist, either moving or non-moving. Therefore, he is called omnipotent. Whatever existence is not founded on the energy of Krishna is called Maya, that which is not. Nantosti mama divyanam vibhutinam parantapa Eshatu deshata prokto vibhuter vistaramaya. Almighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. Purport. As stated in the Vedic literature, although the opulences and energies of the Supreme are understood in various ways, there is no limit to such opulences. Therefore, not all the opulences and energies can be explained. Simply a few examples are being described to Arjuna to pacify his inquisitiveness. Yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam srimad urjitameva va tattariva vigaschatvam mama tejam sambhavam. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Purport. Any glorious or beautiful existence should be understood to be but a fragmental manifestation of Krishna's opulence, whether it be in the spiritual or material world. Anything extraordinarily opulent should be considered to represent Krishna's opulence. Atava bahunaitena kim gyatena tavarjuna vistabhyaham idam kritsnam ekam sena stito jagat. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Purport. The Supreme Lord is represented throughout the entire material universes by his entering into all things as the Supersoul. The Lord here tells Arjuna that there is no point in understanding how things exist in their separate opulence and grandeur. He should know that all things are existing due to Krishna's entering them as Supersoul. From Brahma, the most gigantic entity, on down to the smallest ant, are all existing because the Lord has entered each and all and is sustaining them. There is a mission that regularly propounds that worship of any demigod will lead one to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or the Supreme Goal. But worship of demigods is thoroughly discouraged herein because even the greatest demigods like Brahma and Shiva represent only part of the opulence of the Supreme Lord. He is the origin of everyone born, and no one is greater than him. He is asamurdva, which means that no one is superior to him and that no one is equal to him. In the Padma Purana, it is said that one who considers the Supreme Lord Krishna in the same category with demigods, be they even Brahma or Shiva, becomes at once an atheist. If, however, one thoroughly studies the different descriptions of the opulences and expansions of Krishna's energy, then one can understand without any doubt the position of Lord Sri Krishna and can fix his mind in the worship of Krishna without deviation. The Lord is all-pervading by the expansion of his partial representation, the Supersoul, who enters into everything that is. Pure devotees, therefore, concentrate their minds in Krishna consciousness in full devotional service. Therefore, they are always situated in the transcendental position. Devotional service and worship of Krishna are very clearly indicated in this chapter in verses 8 through 11. That is the way of pure devotional service. How one can attain the highest devotional perfection of association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead has been thoroughly explained in this chapter. Srila Baladev Vidyabhushana, a great acharya in disciplic succession from Krishna, concludes his commentary on this chapter by saying, Yas Chakti Lasat Suryadya Bhavantyatyu Guratejasaha Yarang Sena Dhritam Vishvam Sakrishna Rashameir Chitye. From Lord Krishna's potent energy, the powerful sun gets its power, and by Krishna's partial expansion, the whole world is maintained. Therefore, Lord Sri Krishna is worshipable. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to the 10th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of the opulence of the Absolute.
Ow!
Hare Krishna.
Very good. Are you doing more?
I still got a good bit of time.
Cool.
Chapter 11, the Universal Form. Text 1. Arjuna Uvacha Maranugrahaya Paramam Guyamadhyatma Samgitam Yat Priyoktam Vachastena Mahoyam Vigato Mama. Arjuna said, by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion has now been dispelled. Purport. This chapter reveals Krishna as the cause of all causes. He is even the cause of the Mahavishnu, from whom the material universes emanate. Krishna is not an incarnation, he is the source of all incarnations. That has been completely explained in the last chapter. Now, as far as Arjuna is concerned, he says that his illusion is over. This means that Arjuna no longer thinks of Krishna as a mere human being, as a friend of his, but as the source of everything. Arjuna is very enlightened and is glad that he has such a great friend as Krishna. But now he is thinking that although he may accept Krishna as the source of everything, others may not. So in order to establish Krishna's divinity for all, he is requesting Krishna in this chapter to show his universal form. Actually, when one sees the universal form of Krishna, one becomes frightened, like Arjuna. But Krishna is so kind that after showing it, he converts himself again into his original form. Arjuna agrees to what Krishna has several times said. Krishna is speaking to him just for his benefit. So Arjuna acknowledges that all this is happening to him by Krishna's grace. He is now convinced that Krishna is the cause of all causes and is present in everyone's heart as the Supersoul. 2. Bhavapyayo hi bhutanam shrita vishtaraso maya tvata kamala padraksha mahatmyam api chavyayam. O lotus-eyed one, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity and have realized your inexhaustible glories. Purport. Arjuna addresses Lord Krishna as lotus-eyed. Krishna's eyes appear just like the petals of a lotus flower. Out of his joy, for Krishna has assured him in a previous chapter, Aham kritsnashya jagata prabhava pralayastata. I am the source of the appearance and disappearance of this entire material manifestation. Arjuna has heard of this from the Lord in detail. Arjuna further knows that in spite of his being the source of all appearances and disappearances, he is aloof from them. As the Lord has said in the 9th chapter, he is all-pervading, yet he is not personally present everywhere. That is the inconceivable opulence of Krishna, which Arjuna admits that he has thoroughly understood. Evam mitad yatatvam atmanam parameshvara tastum ischami te rupam aishvaram purushottama. O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your actual position, as you have described yourself, I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. Purport. The Lord said that because he entered into the material universe by his personal representation, the cosmic manifestation has been made possible and is going on. Now, as far as Arjuna is concerned, he is inspired by the statements of Krishna. But in order to convince others in the future who may think that Krishna is an ordinary person, Arjuna desires to see him actually in his universal form, to see how he is acting from within the universe, although he is apart from it. Arjuna's addressing the Lord as Parameshvara is also significant. Since the Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is present within Arjuna himself. Therefore, he knows the desire of Arjuna, and he can understand that Arjuna has no special desire to see him in his universal form. For Arjuna is completely satisfied to see him in his personal form of Krishna. But the Lord can understand also that Arjuna wants to see the universal form to convince others. Arjuna did not have any personal desire for confirmation. Krishna also understands that Arjuna wants to see the universal form to set a criterion. For in the future there would be so many impostors who would pose themselves as incarnations of God. The people, therefore, should be careful. One who claims to be Krishna should be prepared to show his universal form to confirm his claim to the people. Manyase yarithaschakyam maya darshtum iti prabho yogeshvara tato me tvam darshayatmanam avyayam. If you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that unlimited universal self. Report. It is said that one can neither see, hear, understand, nor perceive the Supreme Lord Krishna by the material senses. But if one is engaged in loving transcendental service to the Lord from the beginning, then one can see the Lord by revelation. Every living entity is only a spiritual spark. Therefore, it is not possible to see or to understand the Supreme Lord. Arjuna, as a devotee, does not depend on his speculative strength. Rather, he admits his limitations as a living entity and acknowledges Krishna's inestimable position. Arjuna could understand that for a living entity it is not possible to understand the unlimited infinite. If the infinite reveals himself, then it is possible to understand the nature of the infinite by the grace of the infinite. The word Yogeshvara is also very significant here because the Lord has inconceivable power. If he likes, he can reveal himself by his grace, although he is unlimited. Therefore, Arjuna pleads for the inconceivable grace of Krishna. He does not give Krishna orders. Krishna is not obliged to reveal himself unless one surrenders fully in Krishna consciousness and engages in devotional service. Thus, it is not possible for persons who depend on the strength of their mental speculations to see Krishna. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Pasya me Partha Rupani Satashota Sahasrasaha Nanavedhani Divyani Nanavarna Kritini Cha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, O son of Pritha, see now my opulences, hundreds of thousands of varied divine and multicolored forms. Purport. Arjuna wanted to see Krishna in his universal form, which, although a transcendental form, is just manifested for the cosmic manifestation and is therefore subject to the temporary time of this material nature. As the material nature is manifested and not manifested, similarly this universal form of Krishna is manifested and non-manifested. It is not eternally situated in the spiritual sky like Krishna's other forms. As far as a devotee is concerned, he is not eager to see the universal form, but because Arjuna wanted to see Krishna in this way, Krishna reveals this form. This universal form is not possible to be seen by any ordinary man. Krishna must give one the power to see it.
For example, the example given of him being, Krishna being the generating force of the future, or for example, Krishna being the future itself, Is that an example of this?
Of what?
Of when Prabhupada says, and manifested and non-manifested?
Where is that?
It's like 5 lines from the bottom of the Prabhupada to the left.
As the material nature is manifested and not manifested, similarly this universal form of Krishna is manifested and not manifested. Now, it's Prabhupada's referring to like, you know, sometimes the material universe is manifest, and sometimes it's withdrawn into the body of the Lord and it's unmanifest. And so he's making the point that that form of the Lord is not an eternal form, that it also is sometimes manifest and not. Like all his other transcendental forms are eternally existing. That one's not eternally manifest.
The entire universe. And there are other universes, right? Yeah. So he's talking right now about Mahavishnu, right?
Talking about the universal form.
Sorry, we're talking about Mahavishnu. Are we describing, because that's whose body the universe is.
Yeah, Karnadakashaya Vishnu.
Karnadakashaya Vishnu.
Correct.
What do you think about the whole, like, the fact that he's containing, like, that there's infinite universes? There's, like, innumerable universes.
To me, it's not surprising because God can do anything. It's it's really, it's beyond our capacity to actually comprehend. But it gives some idea of the greatness of God. You go somewhere else? I thought you were going to say something.
No, that's right. That's just awesome to receive that.
Alright, text 6. Vashadityan vasunrudan ashvina marutastata vahunyadashta purvani vashyascharyani bharata. O best of the Bharatas, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Asvini Kumars, and all the other demigods. Behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard of before. Purport. Even though Arjuna was a personal friend of Krishna and the most advanced of learned men, it was still not possible for him to know everything about Krishna. Here it is stated that humans have neither heard nor known of all these forms and manifestations. Now Krishna reveals these wonderful forms. Ahaikastam jagat kritsnam vasyadya sacharacharam mamade gudakesha yaschanya drashtum ichchasi. O Arjuna, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything, moving and non-moving, is here completely in one place. Purport. No one can see the entire universe while sitting in one place. Even the most advanced scientists cannot see what's going on in other parts of the universe. But a devotee like Arjuna can see everything that exists in any part of the universe. Krishna gives him the power to see anything he wants to see, past, present, and future. Thus, by the mercy of Krishna, Arjuna is able to see everything. Natumam shakyase drashtum anenaiva svachakshusha tevam yadami te chakshu pashyame yogamaishvaram. But you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence. Purport. A pure devotee does not like to see Krishna in any form except his form with two hands. A devotee must see his universal form by his grace, not with the mind but with spiritual eyes. To see the universal form of Krishna, Arjuna is told not to change his mind but his vision. The universal form of Krishna is not very important. That will be clear in subsequent verses. Yet, because Arjuna wanted to see it, the Lord gives him the particular vision required to see that universal form. Devotees who are correctly situated in a transcendental relationship with Krishna are attracted by loving features, not by a godless display of opulences. The playmates of Krishna, the friends of Krishna, and the parents of Krishna never want Krishna to show his opulences. They are so immersed in pure love that they do not even know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In their loving exchange, they forget that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that the boys who play with Krishna are all highly pious souls, and after many, many births, they are able to play with Krishna. Such boys do not know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They take him as a personal friend. Therefore, Shukadeva Goswami recites this verse. Itam satam brahma sukhana bhutya tasyam gatanam paradaivatena maya shritanam naradarakena sakam vidrahu krita punya punjaha. Here is the Supreme Person, who is considered the impersonal Brahman by great sages, the Supreme Personality of Godhead by devotees, and a product of material nature by ordinary men. Now these boys, who have performed many, many pious activities in their past lives, are playing with that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:12-11. The fact is that the devotee is not concerned with seeing the Vishvarup, the universal form, but Arjuna wanted to see it to substantiate Krishna's statements so that in the future people could understand that Krishna not only theoretically or philosophically presented himself as the Supreme, but actually presented himself as such to Arjuna. Arjuna must confirm this because Arjuna is the beginning of the Parampara system. Those who are actually interested in understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and who follow in the footsteps of Arjuna should understand that Krishna is not only theoretically should understand that Krishna not only theoretically presented himself as the Supreme, but actually revealed himself as the Supreme. The Lord gave Arjuna the necessary power to see his universal form because he knew that Arjuna did not particularly want to see it, as we have already explained. Hold on a second. Sanjaya uvacha evam muktva tato rajan mahayogeshvaro hari darshayamasa partaya paramam rupamaishvaram. Sanjaya said, O king, having spoken thus, the Supreme Lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna. Srila Prabhupada ki. It's kind of interesting. He showed it because Arjuna didn't want to see it, and then his associates and his in Goloka Vrindavan, his most intimate associates, the mood of their association is that they forget that he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I think it's quite interesting, the nature of the personal relationships with Krishna.
Can you describe the motive? Do you know of Krishna's motive in being that way?
Yeah, it's just love. It's not because he's this or that. It's just him for him. If Krishna wasn't God, would you care so much about learning about him? I know if Krishna went to our high school, he'd at least be interesting because he's blue, and he'd probably be a little bit at least curious. I'd probably make fun of him. I'd probably be like so disrespectful and make fun of him.
I'd see him and want to be his friend, but never talk to him.
Anyway, the point is like it's really interesting to me, and I was kind of just reflecting on, it's like Krishna seeing our motives, and it's almost like it's just the mood of he showed Arjuna. Arjuna is his intimate friend, his cousin brother, I think they call him. But they're intimately friends, and he doesn't care. He's satisfied with Krishna as he is. He don't care to see anything, and so Arjuna is satisfied. I mean, but Krishna reveals his universal form to him. But like atheistic people who are demanding to see God, he's nowhere in sight. So it's like I think there's some insight there for devotees in like their approach to devotional service, their approach to Krishna consciousness, how we're approaching Krishna, our motives for doing devotional service. Are we doing it because we're trying to get something from Krishna? Why are we doing it? Why are we doing all this? It's important to introspect in that way, and at least be honest about where we're at, and then over time, motives change. We can become more advanced. We end up, just developing genuine affection for Krishna as a person. Pretty amazing process. It's like, just appreciating Krishna because he's Krishna and his qualities. It's not like, I accept Krishna as God, so therefore I need to do all this stuff because I'm trying to do something or reach something or whatever, get something. But Prabhupada says even if we are trying to get something, it's better to approach Krishna than not. It's always best to approach Krishna even if the motive is not pure than not approaching him at all.
Am I right to think that everyone who starts out in bhakti is approaching Krishna to get something out of it?
I think generally, we hear about the 4 types of pious people that come to Krishna.
Right.
Those who are inquisitive, those who are distressed, those who are in need of money, and those who are genuinely inquiring about the absolute truth. And the one who is inquiring or who's after knowledge of the absolute truth is considered the highest. But they're looking for Krishna. But the thing is, though, the nature of one genuinely seeking truth is not usually in that of exploitation. They're like genuine seekers, and then when they hear the truth, they take the devotional service and somewhat easier than someone who's actually taking the devotional service for some money or something, because the motive is more pure. Yeah. And there's so many different karmic arrangements and situations where, anytime you try to come up with like a rule about something, there's always an exception to it, basically.
What is the ask for my purification? Of course, I have to ask it. What is the ultimate purpose of Vaidhi Bhakti? Why can we not just... I just need to hear it again, vitalize it.
Vaidhi Bhakti, it's there for us to serve Krishna and also make advancement.
Okay.
Vaidhi Bhakti is, it's a particular application of devotional, it's a particular form of bhakti, but practicing Vaidhi Bhakti, you can practice it impurely, you can practice it purely also.
Right.
So it's it gives facility for those who wish to engage in devotional service.
It's like very merciful, actually. It's like a catch-all. I don't know if that's the right word. But it's like a net that catches the fallen souls who are just not at Ruganuga, by birth or whatever.
Well, even more advanced devotees are still,
Yeah.
engaging in.
Yeah.
But it is different, though. It's, yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting topic, actually.
I know that I am very. It's like. Have you ever seen pictures of like the Swiss Alps? How it's just super vast. It's like standing it's like approaching Krishna consciousness is like standing like right there and like seeing a giant green hill that's like bigger than several like 30 football fields, bigger than like 50 football fields. Just but that's kind of how it feels looking at these concepts and trying to receive them, because it's a lot. There's like a lot to it. There's a lot to think about and consider about where you are in relation with it.
Right. Really never ends. Once you think you got a grasp on it, you continue reading, and then you go back and realize, oh wow, there's so much in here I didn't even catch, even if you studied it. Never ends. It's unlimitedly. It's a transcendental literature. The transcendental literatures, they're literally unlimited and never ending. Every time you read it, every time you study it, it's going to hit you differently, because we're also going through an evolution of consciousness. So according to our consciousness, we will be able to understand at different levels what is even being said. 10 different devotees can read one sentence and all have completely different realization of what it is saying. It's amazing. So, well, it's a good time to stop. Unless you want to say something else.
Hari.
Alright, Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Panchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavnavebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. We'll see you later.